preservation of and increased access to the 92nd Street Y Humanities Audio Archives is generously funded by the National Endowment for the Humanities.
Good evening and welcome to the 92nd Street Y. My name is Robert Gilson and it's my privilege to direct the School of the Arts here. This evening's lecture with Jörg Immendorff is the first in this year's Artist Visions series. The next is on February 6th with Paul McCarthy. Now, if you're like some of the staff at the Y, some people misread and thought Paul McCartney. And I have to tell you that as wonderful as his show was at Matthew Marks this fall, he won't be with us. The cute Beatle will not be with us, and it is in fact Paul McCarthy. Also on February 6th, if any of you are coming from 5 until 6:45, we have an opening in the Art Gallery for Milestones for Peace, and it's an exhibition sponsored by the International Artists Museum in Tel Aviv, and we're very pleased to have it here. Artist Visions continues on April 5th with Robert Ryman and concludes on May 10th with Shireen Nishat, and we hope you'll join us for all of these lectures. The moderator for Artist Visions is Robert Storr. Mr. Storr is a senior curator in the Department of Painting and Sculpture at the Museum of Modern Art. And among the many exhibitions he has curated for MoMA are included retrospectives of Chuck Close, Tony Smith, and Willem de Kooning. A prolific author, Mr. Storr has written monographs on Philip Guston, Louise Bourgeois, and Chuck Close. He's a contributing editor to Art in America, among other publications, a frequent lecturer. He has taught drawing, painting, art history, and criticism at numerous colleges here and abroad. Now that MoMA 2000 is almost history and the weight of the 20th century is coming off the shoulders of Rob Storr, he's working on an exhibition of Gerhard Richter's Baader-Meinhof paintings. And it's actually quite wonderful that Mr. Immendorff is with us tonight because they played a prominent role together in the 1960s. The format of this evening will be as follows. Rob is going to come out to introduce Mr. Immendorff. Mr. Immendorff will come out and show slides. Following that, there will be question and answers between Rob and Mr. Immendorff talking about Mr. Immendorff's work and ideas. And then finally, at the end of the evening, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions should you choose. Without any further ado, please help me to welcome Robert Storr.
So here we go again. Just to reiterate slightly what Bob said, we will take questions from the floor. As a practical matter, could you make them as short as possible and also speak loudly enough so that we can really hear you properly? We're going to have a translator here on call to help with language problems, but Jörg speaks very good English, so the more direct we can do it, the better, I think. We were talking last night at dinner after the opening of 2 shows here in New York, one at the Anton Kern Gallery downtown on Broadway and one at Michael Werner's Uptown here on 77th Street. And he was mentioning that he had not been in New York since 1983, I believe, at least something like 17 years. For those of you who were on the scene then or have read backwards in time, that was the moment when there was a sort of wave breaking of German art in the United States. The assumption of many people, since this work was unfamiliar to most of us, was that this was a work made by beginning, young, vital artists. The fact of the matter was that the work was very vital, but the artists were not all beginning and not all young. In the case of Immendorff, the work that he was showing at that time was of that particular moment, but the career itself went back another 20 years. And what American audiences and what the American public has been doing in recent years is relearning art history and working backwards in time to rediscover the parts of German art history and of European art history generally that they missed during the times that America was mostly preoccupied by itself and New York was preoccupied by New York. And at the same time watching those careers unfold forward, because that was in fact a breaking moment for all kinds of ideas. And Jörg, who is very central to that, was in the process of making a whole body of new work, which is part of what we'll discuss tonight. the particular moment, if you will, was associated in many people's minds with something called expressionism or new expressionism. Again, this reflects a certain cultural bias in the United States, since lively, colorful, demonstrative, graphic, gestural painting coming from Germany is assumed to be expressionist, in some ways connected to the histories of expressionism in the teens, 20s, and 30s. But the truth of the matter in this particular case, in Jörg's case, was that this was a body of work which, while it had those particular properties, was deeply involved with conceptual problems. And it grew out of work that he'd done prior to that, which was performance-based, installation-based, and really was conceptual art. And we were seeing a kind of painting which seemed to fit one description and had to unlearn that description in order to find out what it was really about. It was densely packed, full of allegories, full of symbols, full of a clash, really, if you'll pardon the pun, of symbols, things that were thrown together that were dissonant and had to be worked out as you looked at the paintings, as you studied the paintings. And what you will see in the two exhibitions, by the way, more or less bracket what I'm talking about of work of the 80s and 90s, since in the case of the work in Anton Kern's gallery, what you see are performance objects, installation pieces, conceptual works related to the time before he was primarily a painter. And what you'll see at Michael Werner's are paintings where much of the denseness of the earlier pictures has begun to clear out, and you have a much more elusive, indirect, open kind of symbolic play. In any case, I hardly recommend that you see both shows. And what we'll do tonight, in a sense, is to fill in the space between those two parentheses. I don't want to talk much more except to introduce Jörg, to welcome him very much to New York. It's a rare thing to have him here. We don't have nearly enough European artists coming to speak to us in this fashion. I hope you'll enjoy it, profit from it, and again, please ask questions, but please be merciful when you do so. Thank you.
Dear Bob, dear Robert, shortly before the slides were starting, I would like to thank you for this hello, and I must say I be very pleased that you giving me the feeling that I'm not a visitor more than I'm coming home. So let me say this, and hopefully you all will enjoy this evening. Thank you.
Jörg?
It's probably easier if we do the slides from here because there's confusing. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is a work from my student days in, when I was student with Joseph Beuys, and Beusland is clear, so I tried to handle with my mighty master in a way that he became subject matter in a lot of works, and this, I think, is one of the central pieces. This is a fruit man and a hill with strawberries, and you can see another Beuys piece. No comment, I would say, you know, and I told Robert just and Bob before this evening when we met us, in this suit I went also in the student cafeteria in these days, and a lot of people would like to run to the phone and give a special call, you know, when I spend my time in the cafeteria in this outfit. This is a painting I like very much. I try to work it out, you know, just let the eyes of the viewer play and give their imagination a chance. And it's running horse, green grass, and fighting an eagle. This is, I think, is a very important piece from this time, from the 60s, about 65. Stopped to paint, and the short story behind this painting is that I was really not satisfied with the painting you see under the cross, the blue bed, a green head on a stick, and so just a few seconds before Joseph Beuys entered the classroom number 19 in the Düsseldorf Kunstakademie, I did this cross and paint over "Stop to Paint," and Joseph Beuys went in and say, "Please let this painting like it is. It's a fantastic painting," you know. And around these paintings, a lot of stories later, so that a couple of people ask. He promised us to stop to paint, but he is going on, and. But joke beside it, I think it was the first step for me to make clear that I wasn't satisfied with the kind of paintings we saw at these days at the Kunstakademie, and I thought this is the first new kind of a new series of possibly paintings. So it's the title Running. It's belonging to the series you saw before, the small paintings with running horse, green grass, and fighting eagle. After these first paintings, and all of these paintings belong to the 60s, I started to create the series of babies, and this is special a baby where you was a visitor could put their arms under in these holes, you know, and it's a kind of identification object, if you want, and let us try the other one. So here we have the Chinese baby with the flowers, and it was around 68. And they were, to me, symbols for international friendship and understanding. Then we came to this little object, and to me it was a big start of a lot of performances and objects and other paintings. This was to me a kind of music instrument. With this jello thing, I fixed this block, wooden block, on around my leg, and did a performance in Bonn, the former political capital, and I was arrested by police with the argument that I destroy the German color. But the main meaning was that the word Lidl came from this child instrument, you know, what is doing Lidl. And the second level of music was the noise when this wooden piece is touching the floor. So from little object to little school, so that was a model for a real bigger paper house in the Düsseldorf Art School, where I made a decision with a couple of other young students that we don't want to have fixed teachers in a way that they have all their time on the school. We wanted to have a more mobile system of teaching, guest teaching, etc. And it was also 68, 69, belonged such performances to the student movement in Europe. And so that was the idea to make clear that the school is more imagination and a spirit space than a fixed big establishment. This is further a blackboard out of a performance, and I think this is very good presented in Anton Kern's gallery in the moment. And yeah, I tried to create a city plan, a city for art. This is the first semester. It's a blackboard painting series, also started in the 60s, but this is a painting from '89 when I became teacher in Frankfurt Art School, where Kasper König was till recently director of this art school. And this is belonging to an interesting story, perhaps, when I met Josef Beuys and Basitz in Biennale in Venice, where Basitz has this amazing, fantastic sculpture there. And Beuys met and saw this sculpture and said, "This is looking like first semester," you know. And I took it positive, because I believe that we are always in a kind of first semester, so that our learning process is going on and on. These are my Lidl ambassadors. So that means everything about the ambassador. And I took it sometimes in a kind of black box on my back during different performances, my real turtle with me. So this is a painting. There were a time, and I'm happy to may say this here, where I became more and more political, and there was only one man, Michael Werner, where I became contact to at these days, because I was teacher 11 years in a school with pupils between 10 and 15, and this painting is. I had to build up a film class, and this is a kind of painting introducing the pupils to the problems to doing films. And but I stopped more and more to paint. Michael Werner told me to create this teaching materials into paintings, and so that was the reason that I'm still on the road now. And yeah, then we came to a series of paintings with the title Café Deutschland, and that was a meeting when I saw paintings of Renato Cuttuso, and mainly the painting Café Greco. I was very impressed of. And I wanted to give him an answer in the same size of this painting, but with another point of view. And so I created the Café Deutschland painting. And there are a lot of series, because I worked out, I was very shocked by the splitting two parts of Germany. I had a couple of friends in the East, and one of my most best friend, Pink, lived at these days in the East, and so I created a lot of paintings dealing with this problem, but always more over a national dimension. I thought always that as long as this East and West separation will go on, the world is in a big trouble and danger. So it was not only, I thought, a German problem, but a really deep and a big international problem. It's another painting from this time. Another one. This is going away from the Café Deutschland. It was a title, Lucio Amelio, a very good and intensive friend, did a show in, when I'm not wrong, in Venice about the Earth. Now I need a little bit the help of the translator, I'm sorry. Erdbeben, Earthquake, yes. And this means the title Beben heben in Germany. But I took it for the system, as you can see, for the painting to checking the motifs. Model Paulskirche means there were an offer to create a huge wall painting for Paulskirche. I think even Gerhard Richter was in this candidates, Penck, another of artists. And I thought this is so important because this was the birthplace, if you want, for the German democracy movement, 1848. The only thing, I'm sorry, I didn't become the winner, so. Then I did a couple of paintings handling with snow and ice as a metaphor for the time ghost, you know, for the atmosphere in our country. This painting, I'm proud that I saw it recently in one of the amazing good show in the Museum of Modern Art, and I was really impressed also of the Richter paintings in this bigger show, and I was very pleased that I saw it in the book from Robert Storr about this show. By the way, I told Robert, it was when I had a show in Beijing '93. This was one of the paintings the Chinese put out of the show, and I was very astonished because I couldn't understand, because I nearly prayed to Mao Zedong, and but in their way of thinking, Mao Zedong is taken as a comrade, and you don't have to fall on your knees in front of a comrade. So the Chinese official put this painting out of the show, out of this reason. This is a painting. The monkey is coming to the scene, on the scene, and I like the idea to have a second Immendorff on the back is probably like a self-critic or self-ironic element, and destroying when it's necessary in the right moment, when you're becoming too manieristic and too established in your painting. And I like the idea to have this monkey on my back, and so that was a kind of start painting with a couple of other monkey paintings, as you can see. This is a quite unusual painting, and yeah, when I see it, and I'm really pleased about the selection of the deers, because when I see now the show I have with Michael Werner, it's not possible to change radical from one day to another, and I deeply believe that when you follow these paintings, that the new step I'm doing now is prepared in long distance. Yeah, it's sleeping sometime under different skins. This is a painting, a kind of reminiscence to yeah, a lot of friends and artists and collectors and museum men. And so let me see. For example, here you can see Eric Fischl, Mary Boone, David Sally, Leo Castelli, Alfred Schmäler, who was a very important gallerist, whereas Gerd Richter, Sigmar Polke, wherein he had the Zero Group in the 60s, and he took care about Yves Klein, as you know. And so it's a huge, it's my parents, Norman Rosenthal, Johannes, it's Mr. Hahn, who was a fantastic collector in Cologne, a very important man for the German and European art world, and it's called Musée d'Art Moderne, and if you want, it was inspired a little bit by Max Ernst painting. You remember the surrealist paintings where you have these surrealist artist friends, and I think it touched me in a way, you know. I like to study books with gray photographs of old studios, and you know, when artists sitting together, and so I was really touched by this Max Ernst painting, and probably it was a big inspiration for this painting. It's another one. It was a title, A Dinner for the Dogmatic Painting, and a second title, hopefully I get it now in the right way. Excuse me, das Sprechen von Beuys wird überbewertet.
Beuys speaking is overrated.
Yeah, Beuys speaking is overrated. So there is it's a dialectic contraposition to what Beuys told about Marcel Duchamp, that Marcel Duchamp didn't the Schweigen from the silence of Marcel Duchamp is overrated. Thank you very much. For example, another really close friend with this red thing is Don van Vliet, for example. Here you have Leo Castelli again. This Mr. Olaf Springer from Berlin, a great man for the German and European art scene. So a lot of dishes at this time. That's a monkey piece. Another one. That's yeah, no comment. These paintings belong also to my start in the Frankfurt Art School. If you want, it was a kind of partitur, it's okay, of partitur for my program, for teaching my students. Like a script, yes. From Café Deutschland, I went more and more to a series called Café des Flores, because I wanted to jump out of perhaps out of different misunderstandings, because Café Deutschland brought me always close to this German scene, and it was hard to explain to the critics and to other people what I told a few seconds before, that I always thought that it's not only this German theme at the end, it's just a world case, and the splitting problem is from away from this world dimension also a private thing, you know. Everybody of us, I believe, you know, has different sides, sleeping, and it's fighting each other and helping each other and gave motivation, perhaps. So, and I got tired from this cliche discussion. This is I'm serving red wine, as you can see, to Kirchner, Dix, and Beckmann. That's nice. It's my friend Markus Lippertz, as you can see, in cornfield. Cornfield, right? Yeah. This is Austrian writer, Mr. Bernhard. I adore very much. These are sketches for different sculpture plans. I never did, at least. Yeah, this is a painting. It's I think it's quite important because it was a start. You can see above the Rimbaud portrait together with Gertrude Stein, and I think 94, I had a show together with Luigi Amelio in Paris in his beautiful gallery, Pièce Unique. It's it's not a big space, but with a window glass, and you can see day and night, only one piece. That was the idea. And he had a wish at these days. He wanted from me a painting about the Rimbaud poem Color of the Vocals. And he told me then later it was also a favorite poem of Joseph Beuys. And this is it's a impressive story, and story behind this poem. It's dealing with a search for gold, but I suppose not the real gold, then the soul gold. So it's a central poem about what art probably means at the end. Then I worked out a lot of paintings dealing with the stage, and so it was a situation that I got the feeling I have to force the question which part I play, and later you can see I got the chance to work for the Salzburger Festspiele in Austria, to make the set and the costumes for the opera The Rake's Progress from Igor Stravinsky. And Igor Stravinsky was inspired to this opera by Prince of Hogarth, a British artist about the 17th, and it's about the story, a process of a man who's had struggled with the evil, you know, all these old themes, and I made then, I changed the parts. I create with a big help of Peter Musbach and Sylvain Kremberling, the conductor and the director, who gave me the chance to play so free with this material. I gave the part, for example, of True Love I gave it to boys. Nick Shadow, the evil, I gave it to Marcus Lippertz. The Waiter of Bedlam, the Hospital of Sick Minds, I gave it to Baslitz. And after the premiere, he asked me, listen, my friend, all the others get big parts because, and my part is taking just 5 minutes. But a central part, Georg, because at the end, Tom Rakewell, I have to make it short because time is running away. Tom Rakewell, when he win by the play about love with love cards, he win the evil, but the devil make him mind sick, and he is thinking he's becoming Adonis, and he's dying lately. But to me, it seems like he wins the evil, and he really become Adonis in ending his life in art. So it was an open question if the opera really starts at the end, you know. So. And here we are at the end with the slides. Here you can see the different characters. Oh, I forgot the auctioneer became then Michael Werner. You can see him from the back here. I have to go here. This is Baslitz, this is True Love, and I forgot the Turkish barber. It was a woman with a mustache. Tom Rakewell is Mary. That was Pink. So that was we are finished with the DS, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good, thank you.
Hopefully I was not too long.
Oh, you're fine, yeah. Okay, I want to talk all the way from then until now, but we should probably start with then. And I wondered if you could say a little bit about what the climate was in the Academy in Düsseldorf when you were there, what the 60s felt like when they were beginning to boil, and what they felt like when they were fully boiling. Yeah.
I mean, the time and the way to paint was influenced by the informal, by the German Taschism like Gerhard Höhme, Kurt Götz, etc. And it was, from my point of view, as a young man who studied 2 semesters with Theo Otto, was a set designer, and he threw me out of the class and boys took me, and it was a nervous time anyway around the art school, and I felt it's a dusty, it's not my atmosphere, and so that was figurative painting was not possible, you know, and there were few artists like for example Gerd Richter, Sigmar Polke, Blinky Palermo, Emmy Knöbel, just to let you know a few names. And the boys' class had a special situation. All the other classes were against boys, all the other teachers. So we automatically got a special role.
Did Boyce encourage painting in your work or in other people's work, or was he always a little bit?
Yeah, I'm thankful for this question because in a cliché meaning of Boyce, sometimes it sounds like he didn't like painting, but I think he was. As his work makes it also clear that perhaps in many of his performances and his sculptures, in a brighter meaning, painting are sleeping, and he adored, for example, very much Edvard Munch. So he was not against painting. So he appreciated very much the works of Blinky Palermo, for example.
Yeah. When you did the Little Academy, this was around the time that Beuys himself was organizing in the school and beginning to press for change. Was yours a commentary on what he was doing, or was it another way of approaching the same problem?
There's no question that his influence was very strong, but perhaps I was in these days more radical than he could be. But there were two energies in a way and belonging to each other. So I wouldn't try to create a hierarchy and who was first with some things, who was second. Also, when you saw these blackboards, for example, it was not clear. Everybody is knowing that, for example, Steiner did a lot of blackboards, and Beuys knew, of course, his books. But the main question is to use this material and create it with in your own language. So I think it fits good together at these days.
Humor plays a very large role in all of your work, but particularly at this point. And I wondered how you felt humor worked in a situation which was in some ways very tense politically, no?
Yeah.
How did you relate humor to perhaps a harsher politics? Yeah.
I think it's just necessary. Otherwise, it's hard to stand, you know. I mean, you have this mighty system, and you are a man who's working alone in your studio with traditional medias, you know, with a brush, a pen, with few colors, and you want to win. You want to let not this gray winning, that the gray is winning, and I think without a kind of self-irony and without humor, this job is not to do.
In the early 70s, you became part of a political community, if I understand it correctly, that was quite traditionally Marxist. You made a series of paintings which were of the hierarchy of the communist tradition. You made a kind of agitprop work in certain ways and so on. And I wonder if you can talk about the struggle in your own mind to shift gears from this earlier, more anarchistic Dada style to this more sober style.
Robert, this is really an interesting question. And to start with the end, nearly, it shows that my so-called comrades, they had no humor. Because when you're looking deeper to the paintings and the eyes are not working by Mao Zedong and the mustache of Stalin is like this, and my political friends told me, oh, you have to train the realistic style because this is like more like a caricature, you know. We cannot present it in our party center. You have to go in the cellar, you know, and hang it there. And I miss it till today because when the party collapsed, some comrade took the paintings and enjoyed it till today in his private space probably. But no, serious. I found very quickly, and it took hard time, and I think it was my wish to change also the society. It was very clear. But I must come to the point where it's clear that a group cannot make decisions about art. That's not possible. Yeah. for example, there are no committees possible to make decisions about art because it needs single persons with a fanatic and a big heart for art. And so that was clear that politics and art is a difficult field. And because as I see art, art tries to run forward, to dream, to create future visions, and or destroy ways, try to run away, go away from the main street and just go into the jungle, you know. And so all these things are not typical for the political thinking people, and so that was clear that I have to split.
Yeah. If this is true of that particular kind of organized group, there was nonetheless a sense that there was a real bond between you and Lupertz and Penck and so on, that there was another kind of more open group of people who communicated. Mm. And I wondered if you could describe how that group came together, how those artists came together, and how you benefited from knowing each other. Mm.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there were at any time a real group in a normal way, from a normal meaning. It was a group on the base of a big respect for the other art position. Mm-hmm. So, and I was always impressed how easily, from the first point of view, how easily Penck could make fantastic paintings. During I had worked weeks and overpainted, you know, it's a completely other method to paint. And yeah, I think it was more this level that respect and fascination was the base for this group idea, not stylistic things. And I remember very well in the 80s, where I was very proud to get the chance to visit St. Louis, where this new expressionism show started in the States. It was a big, I think, the first museum show of this. Yeah. It was Kiefer. It was 6, I think, when I remember right, 6 artists. Yeah. Kiefer, Basitz, Penck, Lupertz, Immendorff. So, and you could see that there are single different art positions, I think. And the title, Young Wild Arts, or Wild Paint or New Expressionism, is not so productive. And
how did you relate to the New York art scene, the American art scene when you came? One, how did you think people understood your paintings? Do you think they understood what you intended, or did they take it somewhere else? And maybe if you could also talk about your relations with Sally and Schnabel and other people who...
Oh, I have very good rememberings. 82, when Zeitgeist was in Berlin, yeah. And I drove with a Caddy Eldorado I got from Lupertz with my friends Julian, David, and Eric through Berlin, and we had great days. And I must say it also from the stage, when I came after 82 and had this big pleasure to had my first 2 shows with Iliana, and I went 2 days ago with my wife to Chelsea to give her my respect. And I think the main thing was the painting. I mean, not the story behind. I mean, the painting was an own thing, yeah. And then, of course, was the discussion which persons were, the style of painting, the power of painting, all these things. but we hadn't deep problems. Yeah, I liked impulsive, and let me say one painting I'm so impressed just recently is a painting of Eric Fischer I saw a few days ago, and it's a bedroom scene with a man and with a curtain, Schleier, a veil. So, and this painting is probably a good symbol for what I wanted to explain. It's that the people who want to look to this painting have to come closer. The painting is giving you a part, a chance to create the man behind this veil. Yeah. So, and this is that makes the kind of magie I like so much. And I didn't know about really all the stories behind, but the painting speaks to me very clear.
When you painted the Cafe Greco paintings, your model was Renato Guttuso. This is an artist who's not very familiar in the United States, and there's this particular painting, which is a gathering of all kinds of people, Apollinaire and other people in the cafe. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about your relation both to the tradition that Guttuso represented and maybe a little bit about your jumping off, say some more about how the Cafe Greco becomes the Cafe Deutschland.
Yeah. The real strong reason was, to me, Renato Guttuso belongs at this days to the Communist Party of Italy. And this party was belonging to what we call Soviet revisionists. I mean, belonged to the Soviet Union Party. Yeah. And we were China fans, if you to say it salop. Okay. And so, and to me it was clear I have to make another cafe against Renato Guttuso. So the start was more not about the painting style. Yeah, it was more from the political start point, and it was more or less also a kind of concept painting. It took the same size than the Cafe Greco.
And then began to embroider and
yeah. And then it starts more a dialogue between the different Cafe Deutschland I create. You know, I forgot Guttuso and. Like it is, I mean, a stone you threw in the water, and then there's circles becoming an own life.
In those paintings, objects get treated like people almost. They have a kind of animation, and there's this conversation of objects, symbols, things, and so on. Could you talk a little bit about the sort of mise en scène of those paintings, how they came to be that way? Did you have an image that was very clear when you began, or did this develop slowly by adding?
Yeah, when I finished with this Rex Progress story and the relationship between the interesting relationship that a musician is inspired by a painter, and it's a wonderful word on an old photograph by Igor Stravinsky. He's making like this, and under it was a title, "Hear and See Music." Yeah, and that brings me, by the way, also to the idea that a painting has musician quality. You know, maybe that sounds a little bit stupid because you stay in front of a painting, doing always like this, but. It gave me the idea that a painter can also be a kind of director. He's creating a stage, you know, he's like it's I think also Hogarth said this, that his paintings are more stages. He's playing the part of the director, and people and objects, are the actors, and the objects are make it possible to give them a special character, they can play with it, they can change their meanings, An eagle can become a wife, can become your love bride, and so all this makes it free, you are able to losing the big stone on the arm.
In the paintings Café Flore and things of that time generally, you have these kind of conversations with art history, direct conversations with Ernst or with other people. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about this, also particularly about Beckmann in relation to the theatrical format. I mean, the triptychs of Beckmann are often theatrical situations. Mm. Is Beckmann a central figure for you or not so much?
Yeah. When the time is not as exciting as you want to have the time, then you're looking in you go back to books. I mean, you're going in beautiful museums, for example. And when I saw this Cézanne, also recently you showed them when I'm staying in Paris. So I'm looking for inspiring energy, and but to put Dix, Kirchner, and Beckmann in the paintings, especially one I did in New Zealand, the Café Ready-Made de l'Histoire was a title. It's also playing with Marcel Duchamp. Then they are standing for a special art where art was forbidden in the 30s in Germany, and art is staying. These artists staying for positions where what we call, is there any word for Spießer in English?
Small-minded person.
A small-minded person. I mean, who are afraid about art. So that's special heroes for me.
To rebuild the history of Germany.
Yes, gave him a part in my paintings. Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion in criticism in this country, certainly, and also elsewhere, about the degree to which recent German painting has been history painting. Do you see yourself as being a history painter in some sense, or not so much?
No, I don't like this.
Say
I don't
why.
like this. I mean, how can I look away for the history?
Yeah.
How can I cannot look away from what's going on today, and perhaps I have the chance to create and work on the future. I mean, when I make a decision to become active, yes, that is my chance as an artist. Just for me, for myself. I mean, to feel like a human being and stand every day proudly, So that is what I need, like everybody is needing to breathe and food. Yeah, it's basic. To me, it's art is basic, and of course, so that when I be angry about things and things make me nervous, make me aggressive also sometimes. So then everything is material and it's coming to me. I cannot run away. So then I put it, like a Spanish torero, the bull,
I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the paintings that are up at Michael's, the most recent work, because until very recently, the paintings were full, packed, solid,
Yeah.
and suddenly you have these spaces open up in them, and then sort of cartouches or something like that of symbols. And how is that developed?
Oh yeah, this is. I'm thankful for this question. I looked so long times for a new door, and you cannot force it. I mean, it's not possible. And there's a couple of paintings, as I told it a couple of minutes ago. The child is sleeping behind different levels, you know. The child means a new way to paint, a new point of view, you know. But you cannot see it. You have first work it away. You really have to work till a point where it makes sing, yeah, and suddenly the windows open with fresh wind. And on the other hand, I believe it's also that I wanted to clear up and clean up and make a reduction to come closer also to other people. I mean, more direct. Not so many things. Make it easier and difficult at the same time. Yeah, for both, to both of us. And what I told, it's not only a compliment to my friend Eric Fischer that I spoke about this painting. It's what is beautiful on this is this curtain works also, the veil or curtain, is that secret is possible again in a time where everybody is open their coat. Yeah? And if you would like to see or not. Yeah? And because it trains the nerves again to smell in a special way, to look in a special way, to hear in a special way. But you are part of a painting. You're becoming a part of the painting. You are not be served. It's not only a decoration. It gives you a thrill. Yeah. So and I'm thirsty for this feeling. Right? And that was the reason I immediately liked this painting of it, because that makes it clear. That brings us to the point. And you see it also in a very good way. The cocon, you know, where the butterfly you're expecting, but you have to create your own butterfly. You know, I cannot help you. You should become a part of what I'm dreaming, and then it becomes our dream in a way.
I want to ask one last question, then open it up to the floor. Your work begins, in a sense, in an art school. I mean, all young artists do in a way, but you were already making work in the school and about the school and grappling with the system of art at that level. You've also taught for a very long time and are now teaching at the Academy in Düsseldorf. And I wondered if you could say anything about how work with younger artists, how the fact of teaching relates to what you do for yourself.
Oh, it's very important. It's very important to me, because let me start with quite egoistic reasons. It makes it possible that I can prove my positions day by day in the discussion with younger painters who want to become artists. It's exciting to see if there's still a fire in young people, you know. Where's the next fire coming from? And I need the opposite position. I need other position to make to give me a kick too. Yeah, and the best thing is what can happen to me when I see, for example, recent works of other colleagues makes me nervous and bring me quick in my studio, in my own studio back. You know, so that is, the other and last reason probably is that with me the art scene will not end. You know, so I have to take care. Better to take the chance to build a little bit, to work with, you know, for the next generation. And I mean, anyway, I like the speech of Lüpertz where you say, no, I try to kick the concurrence away, you know, but it has two sides, yeah. But I love my job. I mean, I love to work with young people.
Yeah. Okay, let's open it out here, and I will try and see you. These are hot lights, so if you're way in the back, make it dramatic so I can see you. Okay? Yeah, in the far side there.
The painting that you done on Joseph Beuys's poem that you like, I'm just curious, was there a particular comment you were thinking about the Fluxus?
The painting that was about, I think the poem was by Rimbaud. It's called Voyelle.
Yes, and on the side of the plane, they had the word Fluxus. I was just curious if you were making any particular comment about the Fluxus artist in that movement.
Yeah.
Did people hear that? Just the question was, in that painting there was an airplane, and on the wing was written Fluxus, and was there also a relationship to the Fluxus group?
Yeah, I gave Rimbaud the Beuys. You know, perhaps that Beuys was a pilot. You know, when he was very young in the Second World War, and he had a crash, and from this crash on. And even before, he decided in Italy to become an artist, and then he was his plane was crashed, and now the relationship why Rimbaud took this boy's plane, and it is a quite tragic story that when you see the different color points, it was about his poem. Colors of the vocals, you know. So it was a search, as I told, what's behind this poem, the search for gold, but not the real gold, than the gold what human beings have in.
Yeah. On this side, yeah, please. Can I repeat that question for this side of the room? If she remembers correctly, Jörg participated in a demonstration at the '68 Documenta in a protest against the pop orientation of that exhibition, or at least part of it, actually.
Yeah, this is a big misunderstanding. I was always a big fan of Andy and all the heroes. No, what I did, I was against the kind of bureaucratic, because there was at this time, if you want, not alternative documenta, but I was so sorry that I wasn't invited, you know, so I had to took the chance to do it by myself, and I jumped with a stick with the ice beer and a glass of honey, and jumped by the press conference. It is another background, you know. I was not satisfied with this media thing, and gave the microphone honey to eat, you know. So, and
it's like sugaring the gas tank of an engine. Let's see. Let me see if on this side. Sure. Yeah, please.
I was wondering about your relationship with Pick, and when you were separated for so long, were you able to keep up with each other's work? Could you see each other's paintings or pictures or calls?
Yeah, it was difficult, but it was possible. And recently it was an interesting show in Cologne, also in the Michael Werner Gallery, with a reproduction of a show from '76, and they were you know, the paintings, it was difficult to bring paintings from the east to the west, of course. And we planned at these days a show together, and 3 paintings Penck did for this show were arrested from the political police from the east, confiscated, not arrested, yeah. And after '89, when the 2 parts came together, suddenly the painting hang in a East German museum, you know. And Penck did for these 3 paintings 2 other paintings which we could show in '79. And last year in November, we had this whole show together, and it was very exciting. And I think, I didn't know which day, but CNN gave us the honor, and was a short movie about this show in CNN. But even when it was hard, sometimes, you know, it brings the paintings more close to someone, you know.
Yes, please.
Well, I have a question about the way you work. When you paint your very large paintings of the cafe, what does your normal work day consist of? The time spent, and how long do they take to paint, roughly?
You know, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I thank you. You know, a good cook never speaks about his recepts, you know. And but no, I have from my teacher's days on a very normal working day. Wake up quite early, and end in the evening. So a very quite bourgeois working day, I would say. You know.
Banker's hours. So better than banker's hours. Yes, on this side in the back.
Yeah, in your early work, the paintings clearly reference your background as a performance artist, installation artist. As you develop the work and you get to the series of the cafe paintings, the paintings become formally very complicated, deep space, deep perspective, very use of light. What caused that change? How did that change come about for you to go to a history of performance, a history of painting in your work?
Oof, yeah, difficult questions, but I think even I don't prefer in the moment this stage character, the direct stage character. I think you have a subtle stage, you know, stage who's between different color fields, and it's more subtle, yeah, and it brings you probably to the possibility to create more your own flaw. Yeah, so I gave too much in a way that I offered too much. It was probably too clear, but when I remember in the right way, it was difficult enough. You know, I have a lot of problems also with these paintings. I mean, in the reception in Germany, especially. Yeah, and but as I only can repeat myself now, what I told when you put the question to me about my new work. Yeah, so that's all about it. What I'm now fascinating in. I mean, to make this reduction, you know, to concentrate and let it more, yeah, I stay more silent, you know, more. Yeah.
Let me just interject. There were at least we heard here that there were times in the 80s when there was actually quite a negative reaction to painters of your generation, and that we were seeing something that was actually very, very controversial still in Germany. I wondered if that was an accurate description, and has the reception of your work changed dramatically? I mean, I must say, I visited the official residence of President Herzog, and there was a painting of yours on the wall, which means something is certainly going well. But do you think that really there's an acceptance of this work now that there wasn't before?
Even when I would like to have probably not a brighter attention, but an attention with a kind of respect and with a discussion on a good level. I mean, this is anyway, I think at the end possible between just a smaller group. Yeah, I mean, I think painter cannot become a kind of pop star. You know, it's because I have so much struggle with my own, and I cannot become popular in this way, probably like a singer. And what I would like to have when you ask me about the situation in Germany, or especially what the critic means, is that the critic is probably not intensive in a good way. You know, that they really appreciate what art can mean for the society. It's even when I have contact with our chancellor, and you know, and it's still a long way, and I think it's to expect that it's becoming better. I'm very skeptic in this.
Okay. Are there any more questions? This is a rare opportunity, so good. Yeah.
Given your involvement with this really important historical period of the Düsseldorf Academy in the 60s, I wonder if you could say a little bit more about what it's like to teach there today and how the students deal with painting at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, you know this picture of the snake who's tried to eat the own hand, you know. I mean, to create a circle, and yeah, I mean, it changed a lot, and we try. You know, we have now a real generation changing also by the teachers, and I was in the middle. You know, I'm from 45, and so it will become exciting. We just took recently Albert Oehlen, who I know him since years. From the younger painter generation, and it's hard to make a relationship between 60s and today. Yeah, I think it's much more opener today.
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could say something about what seems to be your use of cliched images, whether or not there's a relationship between wanting to provoke using a turtle or using a swastika, or even today using a caterpillar, and if you want to be provocative by using deliberately cliched images.
No, I don't think that it's anyway possible to provoke extra, you know. When there's a kind of provocation, then it's a provocation that looking for truth, for beauty, is a provocation in today. And I mean, what I'm interested in the moment is how it's possible to stay as a really good artist when you have a fleet of the big medias, you know, every day the huge pictures, and people have no time and nearly no chance to have to reflect what they can see and create their criteria. I mean, to build up their own positions, and what it means under these conditions to be a lonely painter in a small studio, and you go outside and hold the big wave is jumping over you. I mean, are we the last dinosaurs, or is it upside down that it's the only chance to survive? You know, I mean, to go back to the individual energy and fire, and you know, makes it at the end the only is it the only way to make life livable again, or giving we up, you know, by all this indifferent gray mass medias. I mean, it's sometimes to me seems to me that the communism has won, you know. I mean, in aesthetic dictatorship, you know. So that makes to me art so important. Any art positions, you know, the whole bright possibilities art and at the end human being has.
I think it's a very good place to stop. Thank you very much. I hope you come back very, very soon to New York.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening. For more information on the 92nd Street Y, New York, and all of our programs, please visit us at 92ny.org.